IQ Tour 78. Let's see what the staffer thinks.
All right.
Have any initial thoughts, feelings, fears, excitements about this ball?
There's a lot going on. A lot going on with this ball. The new hardness rules for the PBA make it to where you have to have a 78 when the ball is poured now, as opposed to the 72 what it used to be. So we're going to be comparing this one to a couple of pitch blacks I got. We got two of the IQ U 78s to be able to test right now, one with a weaker layout, one with a stronger layout. We're going to see. My fears of this ball is just the fact of the grip in the lane. So softness on a bowling ball dictates so much for the reaction of how the ball actually transfers onto the lane from the oil to the dry. The more connectivity your ball has to the lane, the better that ball is going to be able to go through the pins typically. That's why a lot of the urethane balls are thrown so much, because of the connectivity to the lane. So let's see what it looks like. Cool. So far, so good on that first shot. That was the stronger one. We're gonna throw the initial one I drilled, a little bit weaker layout, one that I wanna go straighter with. We'll go about 2 right with it. We'll see what it does.
And Kyle, you bowl quite a bit of PBA, so
yeah.
So this does have quite a bit of an impact.
This is the one I need to figure out, yeah. To say the least. So I'll move about 2 right, about the same. Let's see what it does. Okay. So right there, so what I'm gonna say about this ball that I know is gonna be very important with it right now is that ball speed's probably gonna be your number one thing to be consistent with on this one. Making sure your speeds are right, it's gonna be very important. The softer that ball is, typically you can get away with the speeds a little bit more. You can get a lot away with your hands differences on this one, but the speed is where it's crucial. So that last one's a little fast, so. This is the first time throwing these, so. Be just as surprised as you all will be. Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing it right now. Like, I've thrown the pitch black for so long that I can see kind of the differences already. I'm going to throw the pitch black right now, like the same layout pitch black that I have in the same spot. The pitch black I'll throw right now is typically the one I use for spares for when I'm trying to play straight on the lane. We'll see what it looks like comparatively. So weak pitch black.
So it looks like you found a good spot to maybe throw both of them.
Yes.
Several times and see, does that IQ keep flat tending from that same spot, you think? Or do you think as it gets more shots, do you think it might get closer to the pitch black, or probably not?
I think when we get the surface adjusted to it, it'll be closer. So I think that because they are fresh, they're very smooth. Typically the urethane balls, you want them to be as dull as possible. Right now, these aren't as dull as like technically my pitch blacks are. So what we'll do is we'll add a little surface to the IQ 78 real quick on both of them, and then we'll kind of see what they look like after that. So as the urethane gurus might know, this ball will probably hook a lot on this shot.
Mainly on the pink slips is when the forward track will be useful.
So this is probably gonna go almost Brooklyn, if I had to guess. Yep. All right, first shot, ignore it.
Yeah.
First shot with urethane balls that are out of your bag, ignore that shot.
Kyle, do you think this would be an opportunity for kind of an experiment for the viewers to see how many shots it takes for it to get back to?
Yeah.
So you'll just keep throwing in the same spot?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw in the exact same spot. It's probably gonna take 2 more shots for it to be dialed into where it's gonna be consistent, if I had to guess. Usually takes about 2 to 3, and then they're pretty close. So no adjustment here at all, same everything. Okay, a little bit less. Now it should be pretty close. So I'm gonna actually make a small move on this shot. So we're gonna move about 1 and 1 left, I think will be perfect for it. But yeah, should be pretty close from there. Ooh, that's a good sign right there. All right, so it's 1 and 1 left. So you can see how much earlier that ball ended up picking up on the lane, and actually kind of almost continued a little bit better too. Could be part of that connectivity we're talking about the lane. The starting point with these balls fresh out of box that I noticed was they hooked pretty early, and they didn't quite continue. They kind of wanted to stop a little bit more than the pitch blacks typically do. That could be the RG factor and the bigger differential in the core. Getting that to do that as well, because they're trying to combat that difference in the hardness with the core a little bit. So I think that adding surface to this ball is going to be more important than even the pitch blacks were, if I had to guess. All right. It's pretty good. Same shot, same spot as last shot. Let's see what it does. Okay. Yeah, service makes a big deal, to say the least. All right, so same spot. This is the stronger one, the IQ 78. Same spot as where we just surfaced up the other one. Yeah, that's pretty good. So this one we haven't even touched yet. So this is the stronger IQ 78. We're gonna touch it with some surface, see what this one does now. All right, first shot. This is the one we ignore, remember that, people. Okay. So now, same spot one more time. This will be the third shot. This should be where the ball should be consistent from here on out. It shouldn't change too much. It's a good sign. So that's the third shot. It's the same spot. Got that one a little bit more in the oil, and it really read it pretty well. So far, so good. So now I've got my trusty pitch black. We'll throw it in the exact same spot. And I'm gonna go a little bit left and see how far left we can get with the 78 after this shot. So closer than I thought. This is the house shot, so there's gonna be a little bit more ability for these balls to kind of be a little bit closer to each other with the amount of friction that's to the outside part of the lane here. But the shots that I've gotten into the oil with this new 78, it's reading really well. So even with the hardness being that high, this ball picks up on the lane really early. So it's a good sign. All we're asking for is close. So we're gonna move left. This is gonna be a 5-board move left. We're gonna throw it a lot slower. Get our hand quite a bit more around it. Hopefully, I'm not the best at that, but. Okay. A ball that I did kind of feel like this one was similar to when I first threw it. It was a little bit of like the hot cell a little bit. Not quite as strong as the hot cell was because the core is not quite as strong, but similar in terms of the way it kind of started up and kind of went forward. But as I've added surface to these balls, it's only made them a little bit more continuous, which is usually the opposite that happens. Usually, more surface you add, the more forward they go. But for me, it's given a little bit more continuation. It's just what I see. Do one more shot. We're gonna move one left off that last one and see if this thing has the guts to make it up the hill. Can't just move one, right? Okay. So this ball is definitely going to be a little bit smoother, more forward, I think, than the pitch black. I'm going to throw the pitch black in the same spot just to give a little bit of an idea of the difference on that. Okay. This is a very good sign. So the bowling balls, I think, are a lot closer than even I anticipated. They're really getting down the lane. I didn't think that they'd be this close personally. I think that the pitch black is still a lot earlier, a lot smoother, a little bit more continuous overall. But so far, I think this ball is going to be awesome. It's going to be definitely useful for me. And see if you need them. If you go to bowl a regional tour, definitely should get one.
All right, Ryan Riley, new Virtue Bowling Supply Store Manager at AMF Peoria. A lot of power coming at you. He's going to get lined up with the IQ Tour 78. Let us know what he thinks. Quite a similar game and matchup to the two-hander. So while we might not have a two-hander, this is going to be quite similar to that.
It's a pretty good first shot. Not too bad. Probably throw another one in the same spot.
Okay.
Holy flare, Batman. Oh, missed it on the bottom a little. Whew. Missed that one just a pinch and it just, whew.
Yeah, scooted through it. Ryan, how much do you bowl PBA? Do you plan on bowling PBA?
Usually three, maybe 4 regionals a year.
Okay. So not a lot. So the PBA rule doesn't necessarily impact you a lot. So you don't necessarily feel forced into having to use this bowling ball.
Just the 2 events a year at the stadium, of course. The only time I try to use my crutch ability.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be short pin big balls.
Okay.
One more in the same spot. It's pretty good. To me, it's just an earlier, stronger pitch black.
Okay.
Definitely flares a little bit more for me. I think I like balls to pick up a little earlier with my ball speed. The pitch black shine up too fast, tend to go a little too long. Pretty good. Oh, missed that one right. Yeah, missed that at the bottom. Just didn't pick up as soon as it needed to. So now I'm going to try one where I get a little bit further left and try to slow curve it. A lot of times getting too direct with these balls hooked too early, being able to slow curve them a little bit, see what it can do. So I'm going to move about 10 left and just really try to slow curve it. It's pretty good. Really like the urethane ball when you can slow curve it and it's still shaped to go through the pins. Not bad. All right, now I'm gonna move back to the right where I was striking, get lined up, throw a couple more, and we're gonna compare it to the double cross. All right, now I'm gonna go to the double cross in the same spot and see what we get. Not the best shot possible. Probably do like a 2-and-1, 3-and-2 left, throw another good shot. That was good. Probably make another little move off of that one. Still shapes a little bit more down lane. Most likely, you know, because of how soft the cover is, it's always gonna have to. So another 2 with my feet. Not very good. Try that one more time. Wasn't very good off my hand. That was pretty good. Pretty good shot, man.
So Ryan, how does the double cross compare in your opinion?
To me, it's not as early as the IQ and quite a bit more down lane. Shapes a lot more for me.
Okay. And how would you rate this IQ for you? And who do you think should consider it?
I would probably rate it a 8 for me, just because of how early it hooks. I throw it harder. I know people that throw it a little bit harder, higher rev rate, need to get the ball to the read and lane sooner. I definitely recommend this one.
Okay.
So,
okay, sounds good. Thanks, man.
yeah.
All right, Derek, got our lefty on the scene. Getting lined up with the IQ Tour 78.
What's up, everybody? We're gonna get lined up with the IQ and compare it to some other urethane pieces. This has been thrown a little bit, so it's not at the box surface, the very dull 500 that it comes with. We'll play with that here in a little bit. But it's still already reading really, really early. But we'll go through the motions. We'll move 1 or 2 off that. There it is. Got a little oil on it and it went really forward. Kind of like everyone else said, you get a little bit of oil on them and they do something totally different. Like you have to completely eliminate frame 1. That's just urethane.
You know, it's exactly like my wife always tells me.
Where I was.
Half the battle is knowing how to work with the equipment you got.
Pretty good. It's going more and more straight the more oil I get into it. We're gonna scuff it. This is a brand new 500 pad, thanks to our friend Kyle King. And it definitely needs it. I really like to bury my surface into them. I would actually typically do this on a table or a couch, just because I really like to get it as deep into the ball as possible and not do this to my shirt. But that's all right. All right. Now the same thing Kyle talked about, this first frame means absolutely nothing, so I'm not even gonna throw it at a full rack. It is going to hook so much more, like it did. But now we can stand in the right spot and actually throw it. This is the same spot where I kept going light prior to the surface. And I read an arrow more. So as you can see the difference of what a little bit of surface does to a urethane ball. That was a little bit to the left, but holy cow, that wheeled. Another 2. Just gonna force me to kind of loop the lane a little bit. That one's gonna go straight. Yep. Just doesn't allow you to kind of open up your angles, but because it's so strong, especially on what we're bowling on right now, it just doesn't look very good. I need to throw it harder. We're gonna square up, throw it a little bit harder, a little closer to the gutter. That one's, thought that was going in the gutter. And you can see a little more surface or a little more speed makes the thing go very, very straight. So I am not in a good spot right now. I gotta figure out where to go. All right, we're gonna get back to pretty much where we started prior to the surface and kind of slow curve it really close to the gutter. See if that gets us into a better spot. Kind of like that. It's closer. Now we'll move a little bit further right. So the one thing that I can say about this ball is we are bowling on house right now. It obviously does not look very good right now, simply because I'm kind of forced to open up my angles because the gutter is so dry, and that's not what this ball really is intended for. I did a video a couple days ago showing the differences of this ball compared to a couple other urethanes on both house and sport, and you're gonna see, at least for me, a very big performance difference compared to what you're seeing right now. So check that one out. I'll talk a little bit more about it as we go. But right now we're at least gonna try and get dialed in on house. Okay. 2 more further right than where we just were. Same thing, kind of slow curve it. It's got a chance. Hey, we did it. We finally got to the right spot. So kind of slow curving is what we see working the best right now. Throwing the ball straight just causes it to hook way too soon because they're so dry. It has absolutely no chance because there's not that much volume to the left. But right now it looks pretty good. We'll throw 1 more and then we'll throw some other things kind of in the same spot. Same process. All right, we're finally in the right spot. That took long enough. So the one thing you'll see throughout this comparison video, I am definitely the lowest rev rate by a lot in comparison to the two righties. So for me, I can't really do what they do where they kind of opened up the lane and were able to get it around it pretty easily. I gotta work pretty hard to do that. All right, we're gonna go to a purple hammer in the same spot, show you guys the differences between the two. This is a purple hammer that hasn't been touched with surface in a while. This is the same spot, honestly not even kind of dialed off and slow, just normal speed and everything. And it hooked way more. It is frame one, so we'll eliminate that one for now. But I have a feeling it's gonna do pretty much the same thing. All right, same spot now that we've thrown it. And that one's pretty close. Full speed, I'll probably move one back left from there. But you can see that one is a lot more rounded and doesn't lose all its energy in the front part of the lane. All right. One back left. And a reminder, we are full speed, not kind of slowing it down and getting holes. Oh, really good. Yeah. Now we're definitely in the right spot. That one's just earlier to respond. Doesn't really lose its energy and continues through the pins. Not very good. Still hits the hole. That ball is just crazy. So you can already see the differences of just how much more shape you see out of the purple hammer in comparison to the IQ 78. Simply because the ball is a little bit softer, it's got more games, it's not so early compared to that IQ. But on house, at least, the differences don't seem as severe. Now, if you check out the other video, you're gonna see just how different I actually have these two bowling balls. It's pretty cool to see. And I'll kind of do that same thing. I'm gonna move forward right and kind of do that slow curve that I was doing with the IQ. Like that. That one still almost gets there.
So Derek, how do you have the three balls comparing so far compared to the last video? Is it pretty similar to what you experienced before?
Pretty much the same thing we're seeing. The differences aren't nearly as severe on house that they were on sport patterns. I've got the IQ and the purple about 3 or so different, just hooking in a different spot of the lane so far. So we're gonna bring the pitch black into the mix, which I feel is much closer to the IQ, and see how that one compares. Okay, so we're going back to where we started with the purple full speed. Okay. So as expected, a little bit weaker than the purple, much closer to the IQ. We'll make the move and see how they look. Closer. That one does not have fresh surface either, so we'll do the same thing. We'll hit this pitch black with 500 and see how it compares. Now, it's pretty typical for me to keep all my urethanes between about 360 and maybe 1,000 if they hook a lot. It's pretty common that I bury 500 into them. Just they roll better. If they're just earlier and actually pop like this one did, that's much more of what I'm looking for with my urethane balls. I don't want to see them get down the lane. I don't want to see them get shiny. I want them very, very dull. So what I have them at now is pretty typical of these three bowling balls, and I like it that what I see a lot more. So now we'll throw one more with this pitch black, and then I'll give you guys a final rating. That's a good one. Yeah, you can see the surface really changed everything with that and shows really how important surface is. We're gonna throw the IQ in the same spot one more time just so you guys see the difference between the two storm ones, and we'll wrap it up.
So Derek, who do you think this ball's for? What's your final rating, and how do you think it stacks up compared to the other urethane?
Great, so for me, this ball is 100% a tournament player bowling ball. As you can see through watching me get lined up with this bowling ball, it didn't look all that great on house simply because that's not what it's for. This ball is gonna be for those guys that bowl a lot of regionals that need something that fits under a purple hammer. And that's really going to be the most value for the thing. On house, I'm going to give this ball an absolute potato. It is not a ball to throw on house. It doesn't shape the way other bowling balls do. It is not going to do you any good. Now, tournament play, whether it's professional level or even just amateur level, I think this ball has a ton of value. For me, the ball is fire. When it comes to bowling on sport, potato on house.